in
Oh, you at home?
Detroit. The shade, the shade.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I mean, the face and everything. You were like, you got a sweat. It's cold. Where are you?
Where are you? You
Okay.
stay in Costa Rica. What you got a sweater on for?
Oh, all right. So we are live. After the shade, we're live. Tilisa Stubbs, my friend, has joined me. She is a private money lender. I'm going to allow her to tell you all about herself. And she is in Hawaii at the moment while I'm in the D. Talisa, introduce yourself.
Hi there, you guys. So my name is Tilisa Stubbs. Oh my goodness, Shalece, thank you so much for having me. Y'all, I am in a state of rest right now. I'm in Hawaii. I'm here masterminding with five other amazing women because although we're all real estate investors, we want to make sure that we are leading with purpose and that we're actually making a difference in the lives of many. And so all five of us have come together to see how we can work together to purchase real estate so that we can house at-risk individuals, whether that be the elderly, whether that be women exiting sex trafficking, women experiencing domestic violence, like some of the women in my family have, dealt with at some point. So it kind of hits home. Whether that is housing people with mental disabilities, developmental issues. My son has autism. And so, when we talk about when those individuals begin to age out and have housing, like what does that look like? And so I think that all of that just coming here and being able to be in Hawaii, it's heavy work, it's traumatic what a lot of these people are experiencing on a day to day. And so we come to this place and we try to come with a light heart. But ultimately, we are doing some very, it's some very sensitive work. And so I'm proud of it. And I'm glad to just be here with these women who are just want to do the exact same thing.
Talisa, I'm proud of you. I remember when we
Uh,
first met, you were a comptroller or something
yeah,
for the city of Houston, for the school district of in
in
Texas,
Dallas.
in
Yeah.
Dallas. And I remember you were sitting back, you would rock back in your chair, and you were like, I'm getting out of here, Shalece. I'm gonna be out of here, Shalece. And I remember coaching on real estate, and I was in real estate, and I believe you and your husband were a little bit in real estate at that time. And
Yes.
I remember you were like, "Oh no, it's just a matter of time." Sitting back in your chair, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here. And we were in an accountability group with another young lady, and I recall when you left. I think you moved from Dallas and you like moved to another city, or you just moved out of your house. You sold your house, you made a really decent profit, if I recall correctly.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
and I remember talking later, we kept in touch. You had moved to Jamaica. I was like,
Girl,
did she,
girl.
and took your kids. And so me and my husband came to meet you and your family in Jamaica, looking at investing in Jamaica. And so y'all, what Talisa does is she is a private money lender now. And she lends, so she always been about the money, accounting the money, taking care of the money. Now she's lending the money, okay, and making double-digit returns. And I remember coming to take a look in Jamaica. We decided not to buy anything, but at that point, I had already bought my property, either one or two in Costa Rica, just
Yep.
plots of land. And I was like, let's go to Jamaica. And David was like, can we build in Costa Rica first? And I was like, no, I remember meeting your beautiful son. And I remember you caring for your daughter who did not want to go to the beach with us that
Girl.
day. But you were gentle and you were a wonderful mom to her and giving her
Oh.
that opportunity to just not come because she didn't want to. But yeah, I remember your son and him playing in that beautiful white sand beach
Shalise,
while we hung out on the side. Girl,
girl, so many memories, but I think the audience needs to understand that I would have never, ever in a million years moved myself and my family to Jamaica had I not had a Shalise in my ear telling me Oh, I spend part of the year at my property in Costa Rica, and I do my work from wherever I'm at.
Wow.
And it's one of those things where you don't know that it's available to you until you see somebody that looks like you do it. And then it all of a sudden becomes this thing where it's like, wait, me too. I can do this
Listen,
too. So, I mean, and you already know this, but you are the only reason why I was brave enough to move my family, my husband, my kids to an entirely new country and didn't tell not nan family member that we was going.
because sometimes you don't need that energy. You have to
Mm-mm.
move because you know how influential our families are. You have to move
Mhm.
and then show them. And they're like, oh, okay, good job.
Right.
Talisa, the fact that you said to show us that this is possible. The reason why I'm even doing this first retreat, I don't know if you saw this whole stuff on TikTok. Did you see like how this post that I made, it made all this big splash
Girl,
with
girl,
people? Did you see
girl,
it? I don't know
girl.
if you saw it. But they're commenting and all this because I said, listen, a friend of mine that follows me, we went to a yoga retreat together years ago, like in 2009 or 8. And she said, hey, are you excluding non-Black women? And I sent her this message back on Facebook and said, well, no, I'm not excluding non-Black women. And this is a space that I'm creating for Black women so that they'll understand that it's possible. So everything that I've done is catering to a Black woman, keeping a Black woman in mind. And so
Yeah.
I responded with a video and then I posted it on TikTok. I posted it on my social channels and people were like, you know, but everybody is, and I was like, whoa, I didn't realize that that people would have such a response. But what you said is why. I'm creating a space for us so that we know that it is possible because there's too many of us that I've heard say, oh, she's Black. Like to someone who, yeah, a friend of mine here in Detroit was telling somebody, and in her mind, she's envisioning a Black lady, my friend. And in the other friend's mind that she's telling, she's clearly not envisioning a Black lady. I want everybody, when you hear that somebody has gone to live outside of the country, I want them to envision Tilisa. I want them to
Mm,
envision Shalece. I want them to
mm.
envision Daisy, Shemetria. I want them to envision us.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why
And
I'm
that's so
creating this environment. Hmm.
girl, Shalise, what you're doing, I promise you, and I promise you, I'm not saying this because, I love you and you're my friend, but what you're doing right now, like, is really revolutionary. You've never seen this many Black people travel outside of I'm sorry, not even outside, just the country, outside their cities, their home cities, right? You have so many African Americans right now exploring new cultures,
Yep.
tasting new foods, listening to new music. And it's like it's expanding us in every area of our lives. And it's like we needed this. We needed this.
Thank you. So what I said was, well, it was when I opened the retreat up, it was for women of color entrepreneurs, right? It was for women of entrepreneurs. Then I said, what about women of color entrepreneurs? And as I began to hire facilitators and envision and visualize the experience on a day-to-day basis and what feelings I wanted it to bring, I said, I want this first one to be for Black women. I just want
Mm.
the wind to be blowing through their braids while they're riding their bike in the Caribbean sun down the street. I want this first one to be for Black women. And I did. And so I made it so because it's mine and I get to
But hold
create
up, that part is
and I get
yours.
to create the experience that I want to have. I wish someone had created this experience for me. I would have paid my money.
Right. No, for real.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, Tilisa, tell me more. I want them to leave understanding and knowing a little bit more about you, what you do, how old, young you are, if you don't mind sharing,
Yes.
and
Yes.
your journey. I'm so freaking proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, friend. Thank you. So this journey has been a journey into real estate investing. Shalece, you mentioned that when you met me, I was at my corporate job. So that was what in 2021. We're in 2024 now. It ain't been, almost 3 years. And so 3 years is still very new. And when I got into this real estate space, like many other people, we all try to use our own money, right? And I depleted all my funds. That's what happens, when you use your money gets tied up in deals and you lose your money, and then you have to wait to get more money, and you're not really able to scale your real estate business. And so my dilemma was that I needed more money, and I could not go to banks because I had messed up my credit by maxing out credit cards trying to sustain this real estate business. And so I had to get a little bit creative, and I found out about private money. And initially, when I heard about private money, it intimidated me because I don't know why, I just envisioned a bunch of old white men at a table, assessing your
Mhm.
deal, making a decision on whether they want to invest in your deal. And I kind of pictured it like an angel investor, kind of like something like
Mhm.
that. And then as I dove more into it, I'm like, oh, wait a second. A private money lender is anybody who has money that's sitting idle, that's not making any money. So we have private money lenders around us every single day.
Mhm.
The mailman is a potential private money lender. My Lyft driver is a potential private money lender. The lady at the grocery store. And I say this because many people don't realize that they don't think they have money, but they don't realize that you may have equity in your house. You may have 50 to $100,000 worth of equity in your house. That equity ain't doing nothing. Not really
Nothing.
realizing that they can right, not realizing that they can pull a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, and lend that 50, $100,000 to me, and I can give them 12%, 15% annualized interest on that money that would have otherwise just been sitting in their equity. And so a lot of people who I tell that strategy to, they're like, well, isn't that, I'm still going to get charged. The bank's still going to charge me 4 or 5%. Yeah, but you're still making 12 to 15%.
Mhm.
So you're still making money on that money that would have otherwise been sitting there. And same thing with people who have retirement plans. They go to a job, they leave a job, they go to another job, and they've got money sitting in a retirement account from a job that they're no longer at, but they're like, I can't use it till I'm 65. No, not necessarily. But what you could do is you could roll that money into a self-directed Roth IRA, and then you could lend it on a real estate deal, and we can put that money to work for you. So that's exactly what I do. I never look at it as if I'm asking people for money. I'm always presenting people with an opportunity to invest in my deal. So I'm always sharing what I'm working on, what kind of returns I'm giving my private money lenders. And in that, just talking to people, typically the responses, I would say about 97% of the time, how can I invest with you? I have money in my Roth, I have money in my 401k. How can I do this? Can I just wire you the funds? Absolutely not. You'll send it to the escrow company, and it will sit in, an escrow account until we're ready to close. But that is what I do. And so I raise private money to fund my deals, and I lend my money out to other individuals, so that my money is always working, because I made the mistake of putting my money actively to work,
Mm.
and I'll never do that again. My money will always work passively while I raise private money for my active deals.
Absolutely. So, okay, I remember telling you when you first told me about you were into the private money lending because you had gotten into the real estate and you had exhausted your funds and you did the Airbnb in Jamaica and so on.
Mhm.
And you told me that you were getting into private money deals. And I remember saying, do you do self-directed IRAs or something like that? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, what company do you use? Because I don't like mine. And I had already been doing it with my money, but I lost some money. I left it at Comcast. And I used to know the exact amount. I remember saying, like, Talisa, I got receipts. No, I have the literal receipt of how much money I lost from January to October. It was like 21 or 26,700 and some odd
Mhm.
dollars. And I remember sending it to you. I was like, no, I literally my receipt of how much money I lost because I didn't pull it out of that old organization. So I'm telling y'all, pull it out. You can do better with your money, roll it over, than they can do. Like you have more control. Real estate is the only real estate. Okay. It's
That's
tangible.
it. Is tangible. And not only that, and I'm not gonna throw shade on any other investment, strategy, because I've invested in the stock market before. I've done other investments, but the thing that I don't get, and the thing that my private money lenders will never get by investing in a stock or a mutual fund or any of that, is you don't get a promissory note. You don't get a recorded mortgage with a deed of trust, so that if I don't pay, you can come and foreclose against me. You don't get insurance. So it's like every investment is going to be risk and nothing is going to be guaranteed. But when you're protected by a promissory note, you're secured by a deed of trust, you're
Mhm.
insured by the insurance, you feel pretty good.
Well, I'm gonna throw shade because I ain't likely using my money. You don't have to. I'm gonna throw all the shade. I did
Right.
not like losing my money. And so I said, but also that's because I wasn't an educated investor. I lean towards real estate because I'm an educated investor on real estate. So I'm like, I don't understand it. So I'm not gonna do it. But I'm sure I know many people that make money. I meet these young ladies who are doing it, like maximizing, optimizing crypto and the stock market and day trading or night trading or whatever the heck they're
Mhm.
doing. They are living all over the world, these
Yes.
young women, and I
Getting
love
it.
it. So, no,
Getting it.
getting it, but that's not me. That's not my, that's, I'm good. Give me some hardcore, give me a
Right.
promissory note. Give me something I can touch, taste,
Right.
smell, feel. So, I love your journey. I thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for doing this live. You know, I gotta talk about my book. You told me, did
Yes.
you have
Yes.
time? I know I've taken pictures and posted it with you and the girls and all that. Did you have time to at least look it over and tell me honestly? I don't care, what you felt about it.
So I did. And actually, I'm not even going to try to put extras on it. This morning, I had to dive a little bit more into it at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that way I was prepared for this meeting. So, we do what we need to do. But I started it at home, but I dove more into it while I was here. And the thing for me, as I'm going through the book, because it's a workbook and it kind of has you assess where you are prior to the trip, prior to you traveling, where you are during the travels, and then where you are afterwards. And so, one thing that I noticed before I even got to Hawaii was that my mind was on 110.
Mm,
Every little thing that needed to get done, every email, every tenant, all those things are like brewing in my mind. And I am just waiting to get to Hawaii so that I don't have to think about all these things, right? And so, and in me leaving, I made sure to prepare, as the book says. I made sure to make my VA is on her stuff. My husband, he knows that I'm not taking no meetings. So you need to be taking all the calls, right? Like everybody knows that I'm not here. So that part was good. I haven't really had to do much physical work since I've been here. But what I did
mm,
not expect, this is the thing, what I did not expect was, because everybody here, we are all entrepreneurs, we are all extremely ambitious, and none of us want to waste time. So what I noticed was that when I got off the plane, I turned off my work mode from like home, but work mode instantly turned back on as soon as I got with the other
mm,
ladies of the mastermind. And it was like the moment that we were in the car, it was like we had just got picked up from the airport and now we're on our way to the house. And the entire ride, we're talking about business strategy. And it's like, and it doesn't stop. We get to the house, we pull out the whiteboard, like we stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning working, right? And
mhm.
so I'm like, okay, this seems extremely productive, but it does not feel like rest.
Yeah.
This does not feel like rest. This feels like work. So,
Wow.
so in trying to find that balance, the next day, I think that we all kind of just felt it like we kind of did a little too much yesterday. So when we got up, we took our time, we went slow, we had breakfast. we sat and talked, not about work, about life. We laughed, we joked. All of those things started to make me feel like, oh, now I'm resting. Like, yes, yes, we're still getting work done, but like now this is rest, right? And so we made a time to get back to, our masterminding and going back to work, but we made sure that we had that space
Mhm.
before we just jumped right back into it. You know what I mean?
So when you did get back into it, what was the difference?
It didn't seem like it was at ease. I don't even know how to explain it. You know what? The word this entire mastermind was flow.
Mm,
And there was just a flow. It was just a flow. I didn't feel anxious. I didn't feel overworked. I just felt like I'm resting. Yes, we're working, but this is also rest because we're sitting back, we're having our wine, we're exchanging ideas, like we're feeding off of each other's ideas. And so it kind of just put things into perspective. Sometimes we just have to slow down, and it's so easy for us to just go from one work environment
mm.
to another work environment, and you will take yourself wherever it is that you go. And so it's like, even though I'm here in Hawaii, that doesn't mean that I'm going to automatically know how to just rest and thrive. Like, I have to be extremely intentional because I am who I am. I'm ambitious. I'm a hard worker. Like, I overwork myself. I have to be intentional about saying, Tilisa, you have to put a hard stop on this.
Yeah, that's good. And it feels good. I remember talking to you, you were like, I'm good at business. Like, where the money? I can get the money. I can find the money.
Easy.
I'm good. And for people like us who are highly driven, it feels good. It's not just that, like, we feel like, you know how maybe going out to a party or having a brunch or something like feels good to someone else. This
Yeah.
actually feels good to us when we're
Thank you,
ticking our list off. Like, oh, that feels so good.
girl.
But allowing
Girl.
that spaciousness to enter is still important so that our creativity will continue to flow. Flow. That's your
Yes.
word, flow. It'll
That's
continue.
the word. That's been the word this entire week. So, yes, absolutely.
Okay, how can they get in touch with you if they need some private money? Because they got money. We got equity.
Yes. So you guys can reach out to me. My Instagram is my name, Tilisa Stubbs. That's Tilisa Stubbs, Stubbs. And you guys can go to my website, which is herinvestments.org. Very simple. And from there, you can sign up to be a private money lender. You can schedule a call with me. Or if you happen to be looking at this and maybe you're a person who is at risk and you don't have anywhere to live, you can go to our tab that's called Her Home, Away from Home, and you can see all the properties where we currently have beds available for you to come and live for a very affordable rate.
Wow,
So, yes.
that's awesome. Thank you. I want to do this again because I want to talk a little bit about that part. I'm going to talk a lot.
Okay.
I want to dive into that part. So when you get
Okay.
back to sweater weather,
Don't be throwing shade, yeah.
oh, it's real shady in here. It's real shady. When you get
It's
back
gonna
to
be real shady when I get back to Richmond.
when you get back to sweater weather and we can be on the same page, I'd love to talk about that because we house veterans. So I want to absolutely 100%. I don't know if
Oh
you
my
knew that.
goodness.
We house veterans and
Oh,
formerly unhoused. Yeah, people at risk. Yeah. That's the people that I house. We'll talk about it. We'll talk
okay.
about
All
it.
right. That's a whole nother conversation.
It is. All right. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll
You're
talk to you
welcome.
soon.